I felt this constant sort of feeling of anxiety every single day that I was an imposter. I was somewhere where I was not supposed to be. I took the job instead of somebody that was really, could have potentially been really into it. And we weren't really creating anything of value at the end of the day. Like, what are we contributing to the world?
You make a lot of money on Wall Street. What aspect was missing?
I felt every day of my life that I was doing nothing of true value.
Yep.
I was not creating anything meaningful. By the time I was a couple of years into my career, I was at a shop called Bear Stearns, which a lot of your listeners probably have heard about. And I worked on a deal structuring desk where we worked on literally probably some of the biggest bond deals ever put together. Multi-billion dollar bond deals. On paper, it looked really sexy. I had a very prestigious job, a job that many people would have killed for. I was 26, 27 years old. I was making, I don't know, close to $250,000 a year. I was living in a nice apartment on the Upper East Side with a doorman. It kind of, or to the outside world, a very enviable position, I would say. I was miserable. Because all we really did was we just shuffled money from place to place. I mean, that's really what the bond business is ultimately. You're repackaging risk. And some of it didn't work out so well during 2008. But we bought pools of mortgages. We repackaged them into collateralized mortgage obligations. And then we chopped up the collateralized mortgage obligations and repackaged them into collateralized debt obligations. And we hedged them with interest rate derivatives. And we made fees when we sold different tranches of these bonds to different financial institutions. Looks cool on paper, nice money, but like, what are we really doing?
Right.
I felt this constant sort of feeling of anxiety every single day that I was an imposter. I was somewhere where I was not supposed to be. I took the job instead of somebody that was really, could have potentially been really into it. And we weren't really creating anything of value at the end of the day. Like, what are we contributing to the world?
What time period is this?
This was leading up to 2008, to the financial crisis.
All right. Did you foresee anything like that coming, like when you were looking at the economics of things? Were you?
I want to be able to say, yeah, I saw the crash coming because I worked on these bonds that repackaged home loans, and there's no way I could have predicted the scale of the crash.
Right.
It's easy with hindsight 2020 to look back on it and say, when we packaged these deals together, we essentially ran what's called Monte Carlo simulations. Easy way to describe it is you run a huge range of scenarios and then you average out those scenarios to determine sort of the most likely outcome, but you always have outliers in your model. So you run a range of scenarios, but in that range of scenarios, you're going to have worst case and the best case. And the variable that we always stress tested was home price appreciation. Home price appreciation drives performance of all of these bonds. If home prices continue to appreciate, bonds continue performing well. If home price appreciation zeroes out or goes negative, all of a sudden bonds start crashing because now you start having defaults on home loans. And as you start having defaults on home loans, people stop making their payments. Bonds stop getting their payments in return, right? Because the underlying assets aren't paying anymore. I work with a lot of much smarter people than I was and older and more experienced, and the range of scenarios that we typically ran was, what's our best case scenario? 20% of your home price appreciation, right? Best case being it's not likely, but what's an outlier scenario, right? Let's cap it, let's say 20%. What's our worst case scenario? 0%. And I work with rating agencies who ran their own stress models on our bonds in order to issue ratings to the bonds that we created. And their stress scenarios weren't very different. And so when you're running models to build these billion-dollar bonds where your worst case scenario is 0% home price appreciation, you're going to build some shit that's going to get messed up.
Right.
When home price appreciation goes to minus 5%, minus 10%.
Right.
And so a lot of people got sideswiped by it because nobody priced it in. Nobody priced in the possibility that homes will stop appreciating. A huge chunk of the financial system was built on an assumption that home price appreciation will not go below 0.